Good morning, everyone, and welcome back for another episode of What Does It Take to Get the Right Shot? My name is Simone, I'm a professional photographer, and today we are going to talk about the part of thirds. Now, as usual, I think that it's way easier to understand a concept when we have a sample that we can go through together. Today, the picture that we are going to use as a sample, it's Blown Away. Blown Away is a picture that I took in 2015 and I was in Italy. I had my idea very clear of what I wanted, what's supposed to be the final result. So what I did was grab the camera, try to find the right place and take the picture. I thought was that easy, but unfortunately it wasn't that easy. Now, the idea of this picture is to have the dandelion that for some reason is blowing away. I knew there was a dandelion field right next to my apartment in Italy, and I said, okay, let me grab my lens, let me grab my camera, let me drive over there, and it's gonna be quick, it's gonna be easy, it's gonna be fun. And this is what I did. I grabbed all my equipment, I went down there, and I started to study the situation. How can I get the right shot? Again, my idea was very clear over here. I just needed to realize it. And I put my lens on the camera, and I thought that the 1855, the classic wide angle that everybody has when everybody purchases a camera, and I said, okay, if I use a wide angle, I can get not just one dandelion, but I can get the whole field, or at least more than one. And I thought, well, if the wind blows from one direction to the other and I'm lucky enough, well, I can get more than one dandelion blowing away. And then when I finally lay down on the ground, I realized and I started to think a little bit deeper, and I thought, well, if I use a wide angle, pretty much everything will be on focus. And because it's a wide angle, the more I put in the picture, the tinier and smaller my subject will be. And I didn't want you to look at the pictures and get distracted by anything else than the dandelion blowing away. So I said, okay, maybe the wide angle for this kind of picture is not good enough. Let me put a zoom. I changed my lens and I put the 7200. 7200, it's a long zoom. It's a medium range zoom. And because of the depth of field, whatever is in front of you when you are using the lens is on focus. Everything is behind your subject, it's gonna be blurry. So in this picture, you can see literally a lot of green. This is the grass. Nothing has been edited by Photoshop. Nothing has been retouched except the light balance. And the reason why we do see just all green, it's because the depth of field. So I lay down on the ground, I tried to get on the same perspective of the dandelion, and I said, I want just one dandelion. I don't want that you get distracted in any way. I want that you see the dandelion, and this is what I did. And I thought, well, how strong and hard the wind can blow, because the dandelion will bend. And of course, I don't know at the beginning if it's gonna bend on the right or on the left, depending where the wind is coming from. So the only thing in the whole picture that for sure you can keep the focus on, it's the center of the dandelion. It's sitting on the ground. So for sure it's not gonna blow away, it's gonna bend, but the flower is not gonna blow away. So I put the focus right here in the center, and I said, all right, I'm gonna focus over there, and I'm ready to click. I put my multiple shots option in the camera, because of course you're not going to take just one shot but more than one, and then you wait and you wait and you wait. And it took me more than 50-60 different dandelions before to understand that it will never happen. the wind is unpredictable, how strong the wind is unpredictable. The light changes every time. And every time you lay down, I mean, you can focus one point, but then you cannot move that much anymore because you are laying down. I waited for like 7 hours and it didn't happen. I was very mad. I was grumpy. I wanted to take the picture. You know, when you have your idea very clear here, but then when you look at the picture to the little screen, it's not happening. Well, then I just gave up. The sun at some point went down. The light was not good anymore. And I said, forget about it. Maybe it's still an idea that I have here, but it doesn't work. It's not going to happen. Then when I drove back home, I remembered that in my backyard, 20 square feet, not more, I actually had one dandelion. And I said, let me work on that. I can still make it. Because I thought out of the box a little bit and I said, okay, what if I ask a friend of mine or my neighbor to get the dandelion in his hand and blow it? Well, at that point, I know for sure that the wind will come from one direction to another, so I know for sure that no matter what, the dandelion will bend in that direction. That will definitely help me a lot to get the focus point. But not only, I also knew at that point how strong the wind will come. And at that point, I could adjust my shutter speed because nothing was that unpredictable anymore. Adjusting the shutter speed, I could adjust my ISO because they always work together. So even if this picture has been taken at 7 p.m., now it doesn't really look 7 p.m., right? It's very bright. Yes, because adjusting the shutter speed, lowering a little bit the shutter speed, because I knew how strong the wind will be, I could even lower the ISO. At that point, I had everything ready, and I count till 3. I said at 3, you blow it. 1, 2, 3. Took many pictures. This is the final result. Now, honestly, I had at least 20 pictures where we have the part of the dandelion blowing away, flying away. So the question is, why did I choose this picture instead of another one? Now, if you see a little bit closer, you can see that another part of the dandelion is taken away right now. So in the further shots, this part is over here, and this little fella, it's over here. Now, in that picture, for some people will say, hey, that it's even better. You have 2 little parts are flying away. That's true. The more you have in the picture, the more distracted you get. Now, the idea to give the name to this picture has blown away. It's because you can fly with your imagination. You read the name, you look deep in the picture, and you're like, oh, I like it. Oh, it can be my life that is in a turning point. I'm growing up and I'm changing. You can give any description you want to the picture. The idea is to create an emotion. The moment that you keep looking at the picture, it means that it gives you something over here and it gives you something over here. It makes you think. That's the goal of the picture. So if I had 2 little parts blowing away, you didn't know which one to look at. I wanted to make sure that you understood that the real subject, it's not the dandelion, but it's this little fella over here. And this is where the part of thirds really worked out. Now, what is the part of thirds? The part of thirds says, it's a rule in photography that says that you're supposed to put your subject in a third of the picture. Now, usually, when we use cell phone or when we are amateur photographer, not because we don't know what we're doing, but because we didn't study yet. And we used to put the subject in the center. If we put the subject in the center, the subject will take so much space in the picture that it's really hard to give a story behind the picture, to give an environment, to let you understand where am I? What's going on in that picture? Because the subject is taking too much part of the picture. If I put the subject in a third part, I have 2/3 where I can give you the story. You can find the story. So again, it's about emotions. But the part of thirds, it's a rule. But the picture is yours. You always decide, do I want to follow the rule? Don't I want to follow the rule? It's always, always, always about you. It depends. You can do it, you cannot do it. You like the idea, do it. You don't like the idea, don't do it. The important thing is you don't have to think too much. Photography is supposed to be fun. When I teach photography lessons, I see the faces of the young kids like, really, do I have to study? I don't want to study, I want to have fun. Yes, photography, it's about to have fun. But at some point, you want to see what you saw here before. The more you think, the more you don't want to do it. The more you think, the more you lose the moment. The part of third is supposed to come right away. It's like an automatic thing. Now, take a look at this picture. If this dandelion will be in the middle, this little fellow will be here in the corner. So for sure, you will see this as a main event of the picture because it's right here in the center. If this flower is in a third, I have 2/3 to let you think, to let you fly with your imagination. And of course, this one now takes more importance than this one. This is way more important for me in my picture than the flower itself. So the part of third gave me more space to tell you the story. Now, of course, it's a combination. If the grass was not that flat and green, I will be so much distracted, and the more I have, the more distraction I have. But because I use a 7200, I use the depth of field, I use a mix, a very good mix between shutter speed and ISO, I had a flat green on the back, grass. So at this point, the 2/3 that I used to let the picture fly away, to give space in the picture, really worked out. So remember, the part of thirds, it's a rule that you can use and you cannot use. You decide. I just want to make sure that you don't think too much. The more you think, the more you don't have fun. I want that you have fun when you go out there and you take the pictures. But at some point, you will see through your pictures that sometimes it's very useful, sometimes maybe it's not. In this specific picture, blown away, yes, because putting the flower, which technically supposed to be the subject, you put it on a third, then whatever is flying away has more space to fly away, has more space to make you think, has more space to make you realize, oh, this gives me some kind of emotion. So this is the part of thirds. Now, if you have any question, guys, feel free to ask. Send me the messages. I can't wait to answer your questions. And for today, it's all. We talked about the part of thirds. Thank you so much for being part of this episode of What Does It Take to Get the Right Shot? I can't wait for another episode. See you real soon.